My name is Joachim. I'm the CEO of Lifecare. Let's see. There we go. We're working within the diabetes industry, the glucose measurement industry. And why do we do that? That's obviously because the occurrence of diabetes worldwide has taken the form of a pandemic. We are seeing strong increase in the cases worldwide, with a very strong increase in Asia and Africa especially. As of today, way more than 500 million people worldwide are affected by diabetes directly. And as you can see here also, the health expenditures related to diabetes is extensive. We are focused on the field of glucose monitoring, and diabetes patients as of today, the general way to do it, the standard treatment is that they prick their finger to get a drop of blood and to measure the glucose directly in a glucose meter. We also have the state-of-the-art treatment, which is the continuous glucose monitors that came to market around 2000. The first continuous glucose monitor was approved by the FDA in 1999. As of today, approximately 9 million people worldwide have access to continuous glucose monitors, and as you then might understand, mostly in the US and in Europe. That's where the access for these devices are. We are a clinical stage sensor company, and we are developing the smallest glucose monitor device in the world. The sensing principles used in the field of continuous glucose monitor is mostly the glucose oxidase, which is used by the biggest player in the industry. It's used by Dexcom, it's used by Abbott, it is used by Medtronic. The downside by this technology is that it's body worn and also have a very limited lifetime. Going from 7 days, which is Medtronic's device, and up to 15 days, which is the device of Abbott. 15 days is also considered to be more or less the end point of the technology, because it consumes a lot of chemistry, and hence you cannot get it to last for more than 15 to maybe a few more days, given the need for a small size of a sensor that has been put on a needle and put through the skin. We also have the fluorescence technology that is used by Eversense. They have an implantable device that just got approved in the US for 365 days use. The big downside with this technology is that it's quite costly. The cost of the Eversense device is $6,000 per patient per year. Comparing it to Abbott, which is $1,500 per patient per year, is an obvious gap there. We are representing a new technology based on the osmotic pressure. We are able to measure the glucose levels in the body, in the interstitial fluid. We have proven a longevity of our device in vitro in the laboratory of 172 days, and we expect to have an annual cost of around $2,000 per patient per year. The longevity we are aiming for is a minimum of 6 months, but we have strong reason to believe that we can do a longevity that will last for several years. In addition to the longevity, our size is one of the unique selling points. The fact that we're able to manufacture a sensor that is down to the size of a grain of rice that will be implanted in the subcutaneous tissue and last for a minimum of 6 months, maybe up to 12 or even 24 months, without any need for calibration. We have gone through preclinical stages and have done a couple of preclinical tests in 2015 and 2016, and we concluded our first in-human study in May 2023, where we also presented this at the American Diabetes Association scientific sessions last year. The purpose of this study was to collect the human proof of concept and performance data for our algorithm development, and we concluded that we were able to measure subcutaneous glucose concentrations in a manner comparable to the Libre 2 and the Dexcom G7 device, which is then respectively the Abbott and the Dexcom device already on the market. The clinical accuracy we calculated from this test is done by what is called the consensus error grid. I apologize. And what we want to do then is we want to put the data points into the error grid and want to have them in the zone A and B to be able to be in the field of what would be regulatory accepted. We did a retrospective analysis of our data points. In total, it's 261 data points, so it's far from enough to say anything in a regulatory perspective, but it's absolutely enough to say something to conclude in terms of the technology, durability and viability. What we see is that 100% of our data points are placed in the zone A and B, which would be then in line with what is regulatory acceptable, which is a result we are very happy with, being the first in-human study that we have done. Currently, we have ongoing a longevity test in dogs to prove our biocompatibility. We have concluded the first dog in this study after 12 weeks in accordance with our protocol study, and concluded that the bacteriological examination and also the biopsy that we took when we took out the implant confirmed that we had no unexpected body reactions, no unexpected foreign body reactions in the dog, which obviously is what we are looking for. We will continue this study to get more data out of it. And for those of you who have seen an implant taken out of the body before, we'll acknowledge the fact that the top picture here shows a very neat and clean sensor with a very low degree of encapsulation, which is very good, according to the experts, after a 12-week implantation. Based on this technology, we have decided to go for two markets. The obvious way, of course, is to go for the human market, but we see that we have quite a good potential within the veterinary industry. The reasons for that is, from a practical point of view, the fact that the veterinary market is very low regulated. We are working as a medical device company that want to bring something to the human market, and hence we are following the protocols that is expected within the ISO certifications that we have to be able to gain a CE approved device. However, that's going to take some time. It's going to take some time from the point where we have a production up and going until we're able to finalize our human studies and then also to get the CE study. In the meantime, we will be able to do a lot of production in our own production facility, and we aim to capitalize on that by selling directly to the veterinary market, because there is quite a lot of, and that's not necessarily common knowledge, there's quite a lot of dogs and cats, both in the whole world, of course, that are diagnosed with diabetes annually. Both in the US and in Europe, more than 1 million dogs are diagnosed with diabetes every year. These numbers come from the insurance company, and they're telling the story about the diagnosed dogs. Hence, there is probably quite a huge backlog in addition, but looking into this market, we're quite confident that there is a place for Lifecare in the shorter term. We have an aim to go to the veterinary market within very short time. On the human side, we do have a product development agreement with Sanofi, where we have entitled them to a first right of refusal to negotiate an exclusive global distribution license agreement. I mentioned that we are doing our own production because we are producing and we are developing a technology on a very small scale, and it's not possible for us to take this technology and go to any manufacturer and ask them to manufacture it. So we have decided that we want to do the manufacturing ourselves. We are building production facilities in Germany. We have passed the point of pilot production. We did that end of first quarter this year. Just 2 weeks ago, we were able to announce that we have done our first production with automated processes. The next level of this will of course be to go into automated production before we next year will move into our new facilities in Mainz, where will be able to do volume production starting second half of 2025. Lifecare was recently admitted for trading at the Euronext Oslo Børs. As of now, we are listed at the Euronext Growth list in Oslo, but we are going to the main list on October 22nd, according to our schedule. And as of today, we opened a public retail offering for up to 20 million Norwegian kroners, with a subscription period running from today and up to the 15th of October. Our organization is based in Norway, Bergen, Norway, where the main office is. But our R&D units are placed in Mainz and Reutlingen in Germany, and we also have one in Bristol in the UK, doing our chemistry development. In addition, we have a subsidiary that we call Lifecare Veterinary, which obviously has the responsibility to bring this to the veterinary market. And as of this year, end of April, we also acquired a company called RemoveAid from Norway. We are a company who want to put a sensor into a body. So we need to also have some kind of idea of how to take the sensor out. Hence, we bought a company that is specialized to take out implants. They have a patented technology and also a CE marked product in the market to remove subdermal female contraceptives. And we are taking the same technology, adjusting it to our technology, to use that technology to take out our sensor in due time. We have approximately a bit more than 30 full-time equivalents in the company. Of these, 7 are PhDs, and most of them are obviously scientific workers. That is my end remarks, and I have 3 minutes for questions.
Thank you very much.
I have a question about the patient journey, be it animals or humans. Now you have injected this and you have to remove it. So how does it look in the lifetime? Like they have to often come to remove the chip, or?
As the less the better, obviously.
Yes.
So we believe that there is a threshold here around 6 months. So the minimum duration must be 6 months, because of the comfort for the patients. They don't want to go back and forth to the doctor, obviously. But what we know is that as of today, they have to change every 7, 10 or 15 days. So to stretch that into 6 months is a good start. So our promise and our statement is 6 months. However, we believe, based on our technology, based on the ingredients in the technology, the bill of materials, we are quite confident that we can increase that time significantly. It would be a bit too tough for me to say that it has no endpoint, but we believe that it's more. We're talking more about years than we're talking about months.
What are your assumptions about reducing? Where are the possibilities to reduce the cost of goods if you have to go to the the Asian markets or the other LMICs where the unmet need is severe in diabetes?
I think that first of all, we're talking, of course, of the product cost. It is expensive to make these sensors. So the ones lasting for 7 or 15 days obviously are expensive to make. And hence, if they only have a short duration, it also increases the cost in an annual way. So we have an advantage being so small that we can, and with the long lifetime, so that we actually can reduce these costs. And I do also believe that the overhead in the industry is worth looking into. I'm not sure that Abbott will agree with me on that, and they will probably fight me on that. But I must say, from a personal point of view, it is interesting to look into Asia and the volumes there, rather than to go into the already crowded market in Europe and in the US. But I assume, and I also know, that our investors expect us to go to Europe and the US and then look for the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Hi, how you doing? Could you bring me through sort of the products, materials used in the product, and the IP and the defensibility of it, just quickly?
Do you one more time, please?
Sorry, could you bring me through the materials used in the product, the chips used, and the defensibility, sort of the IP as well?
Unfortunately, I cannot give you the bill of materials. I can say that it's accessible materials and kind of not complex, but they are the build-up is patented. So we have a patent on the concept of our sensing technology and also on the chemistry that we use to actually measure the glucose level.
Okay. Okay, got you. Thanks. Sorry, just a secondary question. Just the kind of clinical milestones you're targeting in the next 12, 24 months.
We have a couple of upcoming. Let's keep it within the next 12 months. I think that our first, the first major milestone in terms of clinical development is, of course, to submit the protocol for regulatory approval, and then to initiate the study that we plan to do next year. We plan to do a clinical study with up to 300 patients to be able to get the CE mark hopefully in 2026.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was almost the same question. It was regarding the regulatory. I see you go for the veterinary market to have a faster way to market. But you showed the correlation between your method and other like blood tests. And those were a very good correlation, but all in the lower end of the concentration of glucose. You need to prove like the really high correlation in the really high.
No, you're talking about this,
also.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have up to 500.
No,
Micrograms. Do you need to-
this grid is constructed kind of more in a centric way. So as long as you're within the zones that is called A and B, it's all good independent of the stretch.
Okay, so you don't need to go all the way to really
No.
high concentrations.
No,
No.
that would not be necessary.
That's not a regulatory demand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all we have time for on that one.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Joachim.